Hello everyone, I'm so happy today. I'm bringing you my very first design team project for Shabbylicious, which is Lily's lovely shop on Zibbit, and today I'm showing you a Tussy Mussy that I've made. This is actually my first real Tussy Mussy. I've made some toilet paper Tussy Mussies and some little miniatures to go on my Christmas tree last year. But this is actually the very first Tussy Mussy I've made that's full size. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think I'm very happy with how it turned out. It looks really lush and lovely. And it's pretty much 95%, I guess we could say, Shabbylicious products on this. As you can see, the back is covered with some gorgeous laces from Lily's store, and then here I have some little flower appliques with two doodads, sort of, see they're topped on top of each other. I've done like a crazy quilt effect on the back where the laces have been just crisscrossed. Added a little bit of pearl beading that I already had. The handle is made up with some lovely delicate lace from Lily's store and some seam binding. The seam binding closure here. And this gorgeous ruffle around the top here is actually that stiff lace that I showed you before. I can't show you another piece because I've used it all. And it just stands up so lovely, and that's why I used it, because it's got just a stiffness to it. And then I put this lovely little trim all the way around it. I think I have a tiny piece of that left to show you. You can find it here. This one. I use that all the way around the edge of the Tussy Mussy. I'm trying to work out where I can start. Okay, we'll start over here. Now there are two flowers on here, or three flowers that aren't from Lily's store. I've made a couple of handmade flowers myself, and then this little flower here and this tiny one here are a couple that Zeffie sent me in my prize pack. But other than that, everything else is from Lily's store. So we have some pearls and doodad flowers here. We have some crystals and pearls just randomly put throughout. I've tucked in these lovely little velvet, I think they're pansies, and they have just a tiny little bit of greenery in them, and I actually really like that. I put one inside that flower there too. I like that touch, you know, of darkness, because it seems to bring everything else out. Just have to look, there's lots of tiny little doodad flowers just scattered throughout. I've made a stick pin here with one of Lily's the heart stick pin things, and I've put a couple a crystal and a pearl inside of that, and I think that worked really well. I've cut a little bit of lace and tucked it behind things. I've got a satin leaf from Lily's store. This beautiful, beautiful soft lace here runs down the side of it, and it's all like scrunched up. What else do we have in here? Tiny little flowers that Lily sent me previously. This is one of the big white fabric flowers she's selling at the moment, and I've just literally dipped that in tea and taken it out, and it took the colour really lovely, just to sort of, so it wasn't too bright of a white. This is a handmade flower I've used her beautiful flower centre that she's selling. I've also used two tiny little appliques underneath it as well, and it looks really pretty. A couple of her music note acrylic leaves, once again just to add a touch of darkness to it in little various spots. I have a clear acrylic leaf here, and also I think I put another one, did I? Yes, here up the top there. I've got one there as well. Coming down, I have one of her little pearl doodads under there. I don't know if you can see it, but there we go, under there. That fine lace again that I used in the hanger. Some more little, can you see? Oh, it's a bit hard to film this sort of thing. There we go. Some more little doodad flowers there as well. And there's that trim going all the way around. Down the bottom here, I've just cut off a couple of pieces. It's this lace trim here that I used, but I just I cut off a couple of the dangly bits so that I could put some in the bow here, and also some down the bottom with some knotted seam binding there. And so that's the front of my Tussy Mussy, and I'm really happy. Underneath all the lace there, you can see I have the Norwegian book paper that she sells in her store also, and then just a little bit of curtaining over the top, and I think it looks quite nice. I'm happy with my first Tussy Mussy there. And now this Tussy Mussy, although there's so many ladies who make gorgeous Tussy Mussies, and I mean I have watched quite a lot over the time that I've been crafting, and the actual one that I was inspired by on how to make it was actually a lady called Lilla. She used to be Lilla Levine, and I was going to link her tutorial to this video, of course, but she no longer has the video up that I was that I'd remembered on how to make it, and I did change it up a little bit. So what I will be doing is I'll be doing a small how-to at the end of this video, just to show you how I made this Tussy Mussy. And I'll just undo it, because this Tussy Mussy doesn't stay like this. You can actually undo all the seam binding here, and it actually opens right up, and it's actually just a circle. Can you see that? And then down the bottom here, there's that little bit of trim I said that was dangling out of the bottom. I just put that there. Some seam binding. This little trim here around there, I think that's one Jude sent me a while ago. I thought it just finished it off. And this is actually just a big doily that I have put over it. It had this gorgeous lace around it, and I've just put paper inside of it to give it some structure, because the tutorial she had up just called for a fabric Tussy Mussy, but it was very soft, I noticed, and I actually want this to be able to be hung up, so it needed a little bit more structure. So I will do a small how-to kind of tutorial after I've done this. So I hope you like my Tussy Mussy, ladies. I'm very happy with it. You can have like that closed tightly there like that, or it can be spread out a little bit more like that so you can see the full flower. Just holding the seam binding on the other side is one of Lily's lovely pearl centers as well. So there you go. A lovely vintage shabby style Tussy Mussy. Thank you for joining me today. Bye. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you how I put together the Tussy Mussy, and this is only a quick how-to. Like I said, the idea came from Lilla, but she no longer has her tutorial up on it. So First of all, what you need to do, I don't think she used a doily in hers either, but that's just my idea. Find a doily the size you want your Tussy Mussy to be. Now, all you have to do is sort of go like that, and that is pretty much the size that your Tussy Mussy will turn out. So I found this lovely linen doily here. I really should go and press it before before I stick it on. Okay, so this is just an old piece of Craft paper that I'm not going to be using because I don't particularly like that design on it, and I've cut this size of the inside of my doily, leaving the lace to hang over the edges. Once you have the size, decide which side you want to be the outside of the Tussy Mussy where you'll be decorating. Then I've just got myself a few pieces of book paper. In this case it's Lily's Norwegian book paper that she has in her store. I'm just going to position it, get an idea of where I want to position it to cover up pretty much all the colour of the paper behind. Little offcuts will be fine too, just so that you don't get any colour showing through. Of course, if you want colour showing through, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Once you've got your book paper, then all you need to do is glue it down, which is, you know, everybody knows how to glue their book paper down. I'm just using Craft and Hobby glue. You can use whatever you've got also, Mod Podge, whatever you're comfortable using. A lot of people say, can I use Mod Podge doing your projects? I don't actually have that product, so I'm not quite sure exactly how it works. You know, I don't have it. I use what I have. If you've got something that you think will do the job just as well, then you use that. That's easy. You don't need to put a huge amount of glue down. Just go back and put your paper on. Try and remember how you had it. And there's no real right and wrong way to doing this either. It's just gluing paper down. Okay, we did it better that time than the first time. Just a little bit under the paper. It doesn't have to be immaculately stuck because it's going to have more things on top of it. So just enough glue to, you know, keep it in its place is basically what you're doing. Okay, once you have your paper down, if there's a tiny little edge like that, you're not going to see that because you're going to be covering the edges with some sort of trim anyway. Once you've done that, you just need to cut around your circle again. Okay, once we have our paper glued down, then we can, I just have a little bit of curtaining. I think this particular one came from the thrift store. All you need to do is, like I said, if it doesn't quite cover the edges, that's okay, because you'll probably put trim around your edges anyway. So just cut off enough to cover your circle, and then once again and that's really random, but just, you know, smooth it out a little bit. Make sure you've got the right side of your lace facing upwards, and tap that down. And before your glue dries, just get a little bit of glitter. This is a little one Hazel sent me. It's just like an iridescent kind of glitter. I hope you can see that. It's really pretty. And then just sprinkle that on top, and that wet glue that's under the lace will catch onto that, and it will be just a nice subtle look. It won't be too over the top glittery. Of course, if you're making a Christmas one, you could use some pretty silver or a heavier coarse glitter on that as well. Just tap it down, and then there's not a lot falling off, as you can see. Just clean that up a bit, otherwise I'll end up looking like a Christmas tree myself. And then once, there we go, can you see? I don't know, I hope the light is picking that glitter up. It looks really pretty. Once you've done that, turn it to the other side and cut the excess off your lace. Now I know probably a lot of you ladies will know exactly how to do this, but this is more for those that want to know how it's done. Not everybody has seen these techniques used by others, and I know a lot of other people use these techniques as well. It's just in case, but if you don't want to watch it, just thank you for watching what you have watched, and have a lovely day. Okay, so there we go. That's what I did to the back. Alright, that's reasonably dry now. Once I did that, then I decided what laces I was going to use. Of course, I was doing a DT project, so I was using Lily's laces, and they turned out really pretty. And I just sort of started playing around and decided what laces I wanted to use. This one's a lot smaller than the last one I made. The other one was quite a large size, so of course you have to take that into consideration as well. So I think I'll probably just do yeah, probably just do something like that. So try and get it as close to the edge as where you want it to be, so you're not wasting any of your lovely laces. So I'll put that one there, that one can go there like that, and then I'll have that one coming. How did I have it before? Did I move it? I think I did, didn't I? Maybe like that. Just got a bit bigger just in case. Move that over a bit. Perhaps something along those lines. And of course, just remember, if you have some pearl trim, you can put it on, you know, where if there's a line on any particular lace, you can run some pearl trim or something along it. Like that. Yeah, I think that might work. Kind of like that. Anyway, once you've made up your mind, then you glue it on. And I'm going to use a stronger glue for gluing mine on. If you use hot glue, by all means use hot glue. Okay, once you've got it all glued on, that's how it looks. And then you trim your edges off. Turn it to the other side's always the easiest. That way you can see where your circle is. Okay, so once you've got all that done, hang on, I think we moved a bit, didn't we? Okay, so once you've got all that done, that's better. You can start doing the other side. I've gone ahead and I've pressed my doily that I'm going to be using. On the last one I made, I actually sewed it on by machine, but in the long run it didn't make any difference whether I had glued it or sewed it, because I ended up putting trim around both sides of it anyway. So it's completely up to you. What you do need to do, if your doily has, see how mine's got a slight pattern on it, I would want either that to be the top, perhaps that to be the top there, although there's a little mark on this one, so maybe that should be the bottom after all, unfortunately. But it sometimes happens with older doilies, doesn't it? So I'll make that part there the top, which means I need to decide with this, how do I want this to look once I start rolling it. And it's a good idea, once all your glue's dried properly, to give it a roll in both directions, just to soften the paper a little bit, to sort of break the fibres up inside. Now I can have it like that. If you look at the pattern, that looks quite nice, but you know, the idea is to play around with it and decide. You see, that's a bit straight down there for my liking, so I wouldn't do it that way perhaps. Maybe, and even by playing, you're breaking up those fibres. See, that one looks quite nice too. Down the back, you're getting all those beautiful laces on display. In fact, I think I will, yeah, I think I will put it that way. That just needs a little bit more glue under it. Okay, so that's going to be my top there, and I think I'm just going to pop a pin in there, just to remind me where I want the top while I just glue this down. Okay, so I'm just going to run some glue all the way around the edge of this. if you wanted just to use pretty paper, you definitely can. I like to have the fabric look to things, but I didn't want it to be too soft, so that's why I've decided to use paper between my layers. If you want a soft one, just miss out the paper part of it as well. You could perhaps, if you had some lovely quilting fabric, you know, that was already pre-quilted, that would be beautiful as well. Okay, find the right and wrong, seem to have a little bead on that, the right and the wrong side, and sometimes it's really hard to find the right and the wrong side on these doilies. So there's my top, and there's my top there. So we're just going to center it as best we can. Give it a nice firm press. I'll leave the pen in just so I know, you know, how I want it to look until I've got a bit further along. Just give it a nice firm press. This particular glue dries quite quickly. If you're using hot glue, of course, that dries even quicker. And so that will be our inside. And then see how that's taking shape? You're getting that beautiful edging going on there now. Of course, you're going to have to put some sort of trim around the edge here to neaten that all up. You can put some higher lace like I did on my larger one. And then you need some sort of closure. Now, you don't have to have this so it opens back up. You can actually just fix it so it stays closed if you want to. And just permanently glue that down like that and have it like that and never open again, and that would be just as beautiful. In fact, it does look really pretty like that because this, you know, it lays there lovely and flat. It's totally up to you, but that's the base for the Tussy Mussy. And then you just find the trims that you want to use. Where was that little piece that I dropped? I think it's disappeared. Just for an example, if you're wanting to use something like this, you just glue it all around the edge like that. There's absolutely no reason to put any inside, as you can see, but you might want to anyway. Just add a little piece of lace around the inside so that when you close it up, you have like if you had this put there like that, how pretty would that look? You know, it just gives that extra layer of lace once it's done, and that looks really, really lovely. You can decorate it any way you want. Just remember, ladies, if you're going to put beaded trim along here, just let me grab a little bit. Reach it. Okay, if you want to put a little bit of beaded trim, now I learnt this the hard way. You need to glue it on while it's flat and let it completely dry before you start rolling your Tussy Mussy. Do not glue it on while it's rolled, because when you open it, it'll kind of wrinkle a little bit. So please, anything like that, glue it on when it's flat and let it completely dry before you start rolling it around, because the curved line is different to the flat line. So, and you can just, like I said, decorate it, add any more trims you want to. On the inside here, that's our top here. Directly down will be the bottom, so of course you can put some little dangly bits going down and some ribbon and, you know, perhaps some beading or anything like that, so it, when you have it nice and closed, they all hang out the bottom. And there you have it, a lovely, easy to make Tussy Mussy for those that love the fabrics and laces. I hope that was enjoyable for those that wanted to know how it was made. Okay, have a lovely day today, ladies. Bye.